Listen, I'm a forest gardener and forest garden designer, and I finally made it out into the garden after weeks and weeks of sitting at a laptop and making online courses and doing live streams and the like. So anyway, today I just wanted to show you deturfing. It's really simple stuff, but it's good to see how people do it. I've got some little helpers here with me, my pre-vegan chickens. These were you got before we were vegan. We had them for a couple of years now, Joan and Betty. And these are the tools that I use. So what I'm doing here is to, as I've said a few times before, I'm building that up into a mound on the left hand side to about 1 metre, and then planting a blackcurrant hedge down there, and that'll be a windbreak for the what's kind of like annual veg beds, but it's becoming more and more perennial over on that side. And then this is reducing the amount of grass, so this will be the new grass path coming down in here and into the rest of the forest garden. And then there's a baffle windbreak of red dogwood with aronia hedge coming down this side. So I am deturfing this area here, and I'm just chipping away at it. I'll put some wood chip down, and then I will just continue the ground ivy, Glaucoma heteracea, which is the ground cover I've got here, which is fine. It'll just extend, and I'll pop some more in as well. So I'll be using that and then taking the grass out. And it's a small area, and I want to get on with it, so I'm deturfing manually. And what I do is just cut strips down here with an old ancient turf cutter, I guess you call it. Here, just make sure it's sharpened, makes your life a lot easier. So you cut strips up, and then I'm just using a sharpened spade to dig up the turf, and then I'll pile it over there, and that's that. So once I've done this, I'll cover it with wood chip, and then put in some more ground ivy, and then think about what plants could go in here. I think actually it's a bit sheltered. It's a bit more sheltered. It will be as well with that bank there. So this is probably a nice little spot for some perennial cabbage. Actually, I've got a new perennial veg bed at the back there, but that's a bit exposed. So I think about 2 or 3 Dorperton's kale or something here would be nice. And yeah, there we go. And that's a red dogwood. And that's a Chinese cedar over there. And this is what happens to a forest garden if you don't do anything for 3 years. That's just what I've done. For various reasons, I put the ground cover in, and I have just left it. I have not weeded. And what happens is not an awful lot. And I am really, really surprised. To be honest, I really am surprised. This has been totally neglected. So I've staked the Asturian tree cabbage, and that's about it. But this is ground ivy ground cover, and then there's Nepalese raspberry over here. But all that's happened is there's some plantain. What's it called? Oh, I can't remember the bloody species. The ribwort plantain, I think this is really, really common around here, and the beautiful flowers on as well. And there's plantain, there's the odd nettle, and that's about it. Some of the plants haven't done so well. So I did have some alliums. You can just about see some, there's white flowers of the Chinese chives, allium, can't remember, Chinese chives, allium tuberosum possibly. And they haven't done so well, but even so, it's not bad. There's a bit of weeding here, there's a bit of grass in here. I just need to pull it up, get rid of the nettles, and it'll be back to scratch again. So the idea now, I'm really much more into my paths, is to increase the access, because it's a bit daunting to come into just a vast green area. So I'll be putting a path in here, and then dividing up a path from the top, meet in the middle, and then go back out